ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरते यौपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति विभागिने व्योम दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ इत्येतदक्षरमुद्गीतमुपासीत ॐ इति ह्युद्गायते तस्योपव्याख्यानम्। अथ संपत्स्ये इति एवमेव आचार्यवान पुरुषवेद। दोनों आचार्य he acquires knowledge. Having acquired knowledge, tasya tavadev shiram, so long is a delay for him. Yavanna vimokshe, as long as he is not liberated from the body. Atha sampatsye, then sampatsat sampatti becomes one with sat. On the same 278 page, the footnote is there in the line 33. Atra Jivan Mukti Vishaya Sutram. This Brahma Sutra on the topic of the Jivan Mukti, liberated while alive. Anarabdhakarya evatu purvetat avadehe. So anarabdhakarya evatu purvetat avadehe. The idea is that anarabdhakarya, those actions which are not yet commenced giving rise to the result, they alone are affected by the knowledge. क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे उभेगु एव एष एते तरद इत्यादि ज्ञानात् कर्मक्षय श्रूयमाणः. So that's the sutra. In that there is a Purva Paksha. Kshiyante jasya karmani. The Upanishad says all his karmas get dissipated. Tasmin drashte paravare, when he has the knowledge of the identity of para and avara, of jiva and ishvara. Ubhe guhyaveshe taratai ityado. The wise person crosses both the punya and papa, the virtue and vice. Ityado jnanat karmakshaya shruyamanah. In this and similar statements we find jnanat karmakshaya. The karmakshaya, the karmas become dissipated, exhausted, jnanat, by knowledge. Prarabdha, sanchita, ubhay karma parah. So that jnana kshaya, karma kshaya, that the karmas get dissipated by knowledge. So what does that word karma include? Prarabdha, sanchita, ubhay karma parah. The Purva Pakshi says that word karma includes both prarabdha as well as sanchita, both. Or sandeha. So there is a doubt here. Whether that karma includes both prarabdha and sanchita. Uta sanchita matra para iti sandehe, or kshiyante chasya karmani, only sanchita karma get dissipated, or the sanchita and prarabdha both get dissipated. Iti sandehe. Because Upanishad says karma. Kshiyante chasya karmani, all his karmas get exhausted, dissipated. And karmani is the plural, therefore perhaps it includes all the three kinds of karma: prarabdha, sanchita, agami. Or does it include merely sanchita karma? Sandehe vishesha ashravanat ubhaya paradi purva paksha. Vishesha ashravanat, because the Shruti does not specify which karma. Therefore, the immediate conclusion is that ubhaya paraha, that knowledge dissipates or removes or burns both prarabdha, sanchita, prarabdha as well as sanchita, both. Siddhantastu, source of Siddhanta. Yavadna vimokshe atha sampatsye iti uktatvat. Atha sampatsye. Then he becomes liberated in the total sense. Yavanna vimokshe, as long as he is not liberated from this body, until then he has to wait. Atha sampatsye, then right away he identifies with Sat. Iti uktatvat jnananantaram sharirapad avadhi prarabdham karma bhoktam eva. So that statement says that even after the knowledge, the wise person continues to live. Therefore, jnananantaram, after the dawn of the knowledge, sharirapad avadhi. Avadhi means until the end of the sharirapad, up to the fall of the body. Prarabdham karma bhoktavam eva. The wise person also has to go through the experiences of prarabdha karma. Tatah param videhe kaivalyam. And thereafter, or after fall of the body, videhe kaivalyam, he gets what we call videha mukti, meaning the mukti, liberation after the fall of the body. Taduktam bhogena tu itare kshapayitva sampatsyate iti. Bhogena tu itare kshapayitva. Bhogena, by experiencing, itare kshapayitva, by exhausting or completing the itare, the punya and papa, the virtue and vice which are part of the prarabdha, experiencing them, sampachyate, then alone he becomes one with Sat or gets Videha Mukti iti. Okay, now going back to our discussion, Bhashyakara said at page 280, Nanu yatha sad vijnananantarameva dehapataha sat sampattischana bhavati. So karma should include prarabdha karma also. And if karma does not remain, then it should include prarabdha. If karma remains, Purva Paksha is, if karma remains even after the dawn of knowledge, then all karma should remain, including Sanchita karma. If karma does not remain after the knowledge, then no karma should remain, including prarabdha karma. That's the argument. Karmatva, after karma, Sanchita karma also is karma. What is karma? An action performed with the sense of doers. So prarabdha also is really part of sanchita only. Like that part of the investment which is now matured, and then you have it in your hand. So why should there be why should different things happen? For sanchita karma, meaning the karma or the actions which are not yet begun to give rise to their fruit, and prarabdha karma, the actions which have begun to give rise to that fruit. So that distinction Bhashyakara wants to make. And therefore this Purva Paksha is raised. So Purva Pakshi said that just as after the knowledge of identity with Sat, that Aham Brahmasmi, Dehapataha Sat Sampattischana Bhavati, you say that for the wise person, his body does not drop off, nor does it become one with Sat. Karma Sheshvasat, because of the remainder of the prarabdha karma. Tatha aparutta phalani prajnanotpatte janmandra sanchitani api karmani santi. And remember that there are other karma also called sanchita karma, aparutta phalani, which have not yet begun to give rise to their effect or the result. Like certain seeds have started giving rise to the sprout. Other seeds are still in the stalk. But both are seeds, what's the difference? Iti tat phala bhogartham patide asmin sharirantaram arabdhavyam. So, karma being what it is, it will bring about the effect. And therefore, if this sanchita karma, the accumulated karmas, do not get spent during this lifetime, then they will give rise to other body. Utpanne cha jnane yavajjivam vihitani pratisiddhani va karmani karoti eva. And now according to you, because of prarabdha karma, if the wise person continues to live, then since whoever possesses the body is seen to perform activity of one kind or another, if nothing else, at least bhiksha charanam, even the wise person also goes out to beg his food. So minimum karma one has to do for sustenance of the body. So vihitani pratisiddhani va karmani karoti eva. So whoever, even if you live in a cave and don't do anything, if somebody else brings food for you, then also you have to perform the act of eating, minimum. And that's by act we mean the deliberate act. Now breathing and stuff like that, which are not, but are all involuntary actions, we don't include them in karma. But what is voluntarily done, deliberately, that's called karma. Wise person also will do some karma. for sustenance of the body, if nothing else. Tat phala uphogartham cha avasyam sharirantaram arabdhavyam. So whatever karma the wise person performs, even its punya karma, virtuous actions, then also for experiencing or exhausting a result of that, he has to acquire a new embodiment. Tatasya karmani, in that body also, again he will perform actions. Tata sharirantaram, as a result of which he gets again another body. Idi jnana anarthakyam karmanam phalavatvat. Sharira rupa phalajanikatvasya avasyakatvat. That karma will invariably give rise to the next body. That's the nature of karma. And therefore, jnana anarthakyam. The whole idea is that knowledge does not serve the purpose. Because a wise person does not get established in Sat, even in spite of knowledge. Because karma being what they are, they continue to exert their influence and become an obstacle to the wise person's abiding in Sat. So what's the use of that knowledge? Then we say, wait a minute. Kshiyante chasya karmani. No, the Upanishad says that by the knowledge all the karmas get dissipated. Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. The fire of knowledge burns to ashes all the karma. So when knowledge takes place, no karma remains. And therefore, there is no question of the next birth. If this is what you say, atha jnanavatah kshiyate karmani. Already they take that position, that all the karmas of the wise person get dissipated. Tada jnana prapti samakalam eva. The idea is how to interpret those statements of Shruti and Smriti. That's the thing. Kshiyante chasya karmani, the wise person's karma, they all get dissipated. How do we interpret that? Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurte tatha. The fire of knowledge burns all the actions, sada, sarva karmani, all actions. So now, because there is no qualification there of which actions, all actions or actions. Therefore, the question is whether, so apply the same rule. If one kind of action remains, all the kind of actions will remain. If no action remains, then no action remains. Atha jnanavatah kshiyante karmani. If according to you, jnanavatah, for a wise person, all the karmas get dissipated, tada. Jnana prapti samakalameva, then prarabdha karma also, that also will get dissipated as soon as knowledge takes place. Tada jnana prapti samakalameva jnanasya sat sampatti hedutvat mokshasya. Then you say that the knowledge is the means, or knowledge is what? Brings the what? Sat sampatti, abidance in Sat. Atha para brahmatmana sthiyatam prarabdham tuhe bhujyatam. Atha para brahmatmana sthiyatam. Atha para, after prarabdha is exhausted, may then remain as Brahman. It's Sat Sampatti, becoming Sat, abiding in Sat, identifying with Sat, or Brahman. Moksha syat, then right away Vedehika Sampatti, that's moksha, the liberation in primary sense happens. Idi Sharirapata syat, then Sharirapata, because prarabdha karma also gets dissipated, therefore the wise person, the body will not remain anymore. Because it will be prarabdha karma that is responsible for the sustenance of the body. As soon as prarabdha karma is gone, body also is gone. This is what we believe. theoretically you are born with an X number of breaths, breathing in out, X number. When that number is exhausted, then you are gone. Or X number of ticking of the heart throbbing of the heart. So in different ways they explain that, So that is our position. That is prarabdha karma. Although today, that's why yogis, they take fewer breaths. The breathing cycle becomes slower and slower. Because the breath then normally starts from the heart, then from the navel, from the lumbar region. As the breathing goes deeper and deeper, becomes slower and slower, and therefore if the number of breaths are the criterion, then automatically their life becomes much longer. Anyway, but that means that your death is already destined, that's the idea. Certain things are destined, birth, death, marriage, looks like these things are destined, so they say. So Sharirapata Syat, as soon as prarabdha karma is exhausted in the wake of knowledge, the body will fall. Tathacha acharya abhavaha. Then there is no entity such as a wise person, because as soon as you get wisdom, you pop off. Acharyavan purusho veda iti. Upanishad says only acharyavan purusho veda. Who gets knowledge? Only the one who has acharya, the teacher. He alone gets knowledge. There is no teacher. Acharyavatva anupattihi. But because the body is not there, therefore there is no such entity as a wise person. Because as soon as wisdom comes, the body pops off. Moksha abhava prasanga. In one case, jnana anarthakya. If the karmas do not get exhausted, there is no point in knowledge, because knowledge fails to give to moksha, rise to moksha. If all karmas get exhausted, then there is no acharya, then there is no teaching, then there is no knowledge, then there is no moksha. Continue the page, now on the page 281. So in that case also jnana anarthakya. There is no moksha, then also jnana is redundant, useless. Does not serve any purpose. So Anagiri jnanasya anarthakya muktva pakshantaramaha. Or maybe you can look at the situation in this way, pakshantaram. Says the other Tika, line 27, Nanu kasya chideva jnanat moksha na sarvasyeti. So we may present a position here that acharya is possible. Suppose, you give a possibility of how acharya is there, how the wise person is there. Nanu kasya chideva jnana. Why not consider this? If somebody gets liberated by knowledge, no sarvasya. Not everybody gets liberated by knowledge, only some people get liberated. Suppose that's the case. Iti yasya na moksha tasya upadeshtvatvam upapadyate iti. In that case, the one who did not get liberated, meaning who did not lose the body, he continues to live. So then there is an entity called a wise person, then acharya will be there, then knowledge will be there, then moksha will be there. So shastrasya apramanya will not be. Shastra says jnana devutu kaivalyam. You get moksha by knowledge, that shastra will become redundant if there is nobody to teach you. But if this position is there, somebody gets liberated by knowledge, somebody does not get liberated, then you have some stock of some people who are the living, wise, living, enlightened people. Then they can spread this knowledge. So Deshantara. Therefore now we go to the second line, page 281. Deshantara prapte upaya jnanavata anaikantik phalatvam va jnanasya. See, if you see Anandagiri, yatha, so interpretation is somewhat different. Yatha jnana prapti upaya ashvo va ratho va iti jnane sati. Suppose you want to travel to some village at a distance. So you know how to reach that place. Either you can ride a horse or you can ride a chariot. So you know that either you can ride a horse or ride a chariot and reach your destination, Deshantara, another place. You have that knowledge. Asati antaraya kasyadeva jnana praptir bhavati natu antaraya vatah. But then all the people who commence their journey do not necessarily reach the destination. If some antaraya, if some obstacle comes along, if it is car, for example, the car breaks down, there may be a traffic jam. So there is always possibility of some obstacle coming in the way. When you have to go to a different place, there is always a possibility of some obstacle. A slip between the cup and the lip. So cup is there, lip is there, but something can be there in between. Some fly may fall in your cup of coffee, or the cup may slip away from your hand, whatever. So there is always a possibility of an antaraya, obstacle. Similarly, even though you know what is the method of reaching that other place, still there can be an obstacle in your journey, in which case you may not make it. Whereas somebody else who has no obstacle, he will reach. So how reaching the distant place is uncertain. Depends upon whether there is an obstacle or no obstacle. So we know that not everybody who lives or who commences the journey necessarily makes it. Some people reach the destination, some do not. So natu antarayavata tat jnanavi tat prapti yatha. So even though the person knows how to reach there because of obstacle, he cannot reach it, can make it. Tatha samutpanna jnanasyapi. I was just thinking, see, half an hour has gone without coughing, you know. Then it started. But anyway, so today is better than yesterday. Half hour, no coughing. Tatha samutpanna jnanasyapi. So similarly also the person has a knowledge. Samutpanna jnanam jnanaha. Samutpannam jnanam yasya saha. Kasyachideva bhogena kshina karma shasya moksha na jnanamataraditi. So if you say that some people get liberated and some people do not get liberated, the body of some people drops off, some does not drop, then there is uncertainty. Just as there is uncertainty in reaching the destination, even if you know the path and know the means, still, similarly, if some people make it to moksha according to you and some people do not make it, then you don't know who will make it and who will not make it. In that case, anaikandika phalatvam, there is the unpredictability as far as the phala or the result is concerned. Iti aniyata phalatvam anaikandika phala. Aniyata means uncertain. The result will be uncertain. That's not right. If you go to the Tika below, so his position also was that somebody gets liberated by knowledge and somebody does not get liberated by knowledge. And so those who did not get liberated, meaning those who did not, their body did not drop off, then they remain alive and they are there to teach. Suppose you have that position. Tach ayuktam jnanasya niyata phalatvat. This position, that after the knowledge some people get liberated, some people do not, ayuktam is not a proper position. Why? Jnanasya niyata phalatvat. Because knowledge must necessarily give rise to its result. Anyatha anashvasat na kopi pravarteta iti bhavaha. So then the knowledge gives rise to the moksha is definite. If it is not definite, that some people get liberated, some do not, then you don't know whether really knowledge will be effective or not. Anashvasa syat, there will be a lack of faith. You can't be certain. In that case, kopi na pravarteta, then nobody will strive for knowledge because there is no certainty whether the knowledge will give rise to the desired end, namely moksha. Iti bhava. So that's one way of interpreting Bhashyakara's statement. Deshantar prapti upaya jnanavat anaikantika phalatvam va jnanasya. Like the Deshantar upaya jnana, you have the knowledge of the upaya, the means of reaching Deshantar, another destination, another place. Anaikantika, but then it is true that it is not that everybody who commences a journey necessarily reaches a destination. It is well known. Because of obstacle. Some people meet with obstacles, some do not. So anaikantika phalatvam, just as that, even though you have the knowledge of what's the path, what's the vehicle, all of that is there, still there is no certainty that you will reach the destination. Similarly also, you have the knowledge that I am Brahman, but still some people make it to moksha, others do not. That will be improper, because the result is uncertain or unpredictable. All the other tika on the line 29 gives another explanation. Yadva nanu yatha deshandar prapti upaya bhuta marga jnane bhi gacchata eva deshandar prapti nanyasya. So you have all the knowledge of how to reach Kashmir, let us say. You studied and you know very well how to make it, how to reach there. But then, gacchata eva, you have to travel. Simply knowledge of reaching Kashmir does not make you reach there, you have to travel. So, gacchata eva deshandara prapti na anyasya. Only person who makes a journey, that person alone will reach, and not the one who does not make the journey. Evameva karmadi sahakari matah eva moksha nanyasyeti. You can say that, or somebody says that moksha will be there. Karmadi sahakari mat. So one who is also possessed of the samuchaya, or the support of the karma. So you can say that the one who performs it even after the taking place of knowledge, only the person who continues to perform the enjoined duty, that person alone reaches moksha. One who does not do the duty will not. Sahakari karma rahitasya. Then, so suppose there is a Vaidwan, a wise person, who did not perform the actions. He will not get moksha right away. Then he will continue to live. Which case you have a wise person, Vidusha. upadeshtutvam syadidyasankya. And so, then at least there is some kind of position. Upadeshta will be there, Acharya will be there, Jivan Mukta will be there, living person will be there. Idyasankya tameva viditvayati shruti virodhat na evam. Tameva viditva atimrityameti nanyah panta vidyate ayanaya. Tameva viditva. Knowing that Atma, mrityamatyeti, one crosses over the death. The evakara goes with different things. Tameva viditva, tam viditva eva. Only after knowing that Atma will you be able to transcend death. Or tam viditva mrityum atyeti eva. Or knowing that Atma, one definitely crosses the death, meaning becomes liberated. So if evakara is placed there, that knowing the Atma, one necessarily gets liberated, then your position that some people make it, some people do not make it, is a wrong position. So it's all Purva Paksha. Either everybody makes it, or nobody makes it. Or if somebody makes it and somebody does not make it, then also it is wrong, because the knowledge must necessarily give rise to its result of moksha. So this is Purva Paksha. Siddhanagiri karmatva hetoho aprayojakatvam vadan uttaramaha. Remember that all this argument is based on the hetu karmatvam. If you go to page 280, line 20, vimatani karmani brahmajnanena nakshiyante karmatvad pravutta karma phala karmavaditi. Vimatani karmani brahmajnana nakshiyante. That all karma, sanjita karma, etc. also do not get dissipated even by knowledge, just as the prarabdha karma does not. Karmatvad, because prarabdha also is karma and sanjita also is karma. But the other anumana vimatani karmani brahmajnana kshiyante. Or kshiyante chasya karmani, you can say that all the karmas get exhausted by brahmajnana karmatva, including prarabdha karmatva. So vimatani karmani or vimatam karma, prarabdham karma, brahmajnana kshiyante. Prarabdha karma also gets dissipated by brahmajnanam karmatvad sanchita karmavata. Because it's karma like sanchita karma. So in both this, that they all get exhausted or nothing gets exhausted, karmatvam, karmatvat. Because they are karma, therefore the same rule should apply to all of them. So that is now being questioned here, or that is being refuted here. Karmatva hetoho aprayojakatvam vadan. That karmatvam, that just because the karma is aprayojakat, that cannot become the hetu. There is upadi. That karmas are not of the same category, therefore the same rule does not apply to them. Iti vadan. That is the answer of Bhashyakara. Or again, similarly, line 31, evam jivan mukti anangikartuhu chodyam karma vaishamya pradarsanena pariharati. Evam jivan mukti anangikartuhu. So this person, the second position was that the prarabdha also will get exhausted, there will be no jivan mukta, and therefore jnana and moksha. So shastra anarthakyam, because there will be no moksha. So that chodyam, that question, karma, so samshaya is one thing, chodyam is, so you are questioning. He is not raising it out, he is questioning your position. Karma Vaishamya Pradarshana Pariharati. Vashyakara refutes that position by Karma Vaishamya Pradarshana, by showing how there is Vaishamya, there is distinction between the karma. That all karmas are not of the same category. Na ityadina. So Vashyakara says in the third line, Na karmanam pravritta apravritta phalavatva vishesha upapattehe. Says no, your position is not right. Either position is not right. Karmanam phalavatva vishesha upapattehe. That karma can give rise to different kinds of results. Phalavatva vishesha. There can be distinction between the phalam of the karma. Because pravritta, apravritta phalavatva vishesha upattehe. Sorry. That pravritta phalavatva, apravritta phalavatva. That karmas are different. There is a distinction between karma. What is the distinction? Pravritta phalavatva. One karma is that which is already commenced giving rise to the phalam or result. Apravritta phalavatva, or the other karma, sanchita karma, which have not yet begun to give rise to result. That distinction is there. Even though both are karma, all right. But still in karma also, there is distinction. There is one set of karma called prarabdha karma, which already begun to give rise to a result. Others are sanchita karma, which have not begun to give rise to a result. So that distinction is there. Sangravakyameva prapanchen adu nayartham sphutayati. Sangravakyam. This is a pithy statement which has to be expanded. So, na karmanam pravritta apravritta phalavatva visheshopattehe. That is sangravakyam. So, there is one vakya that expresses a very deep idea, and that needs to be explained further. So, na is one sentence, karmanam etc. other sentence. Adu na artham sphutayati. What do you mean by na? So that Bhashyakara clarifies. Same thing this other Tika said, Sangravakyastam nayapadam vyakhyadam nishedyam anuvadati. No. When you say no, means that you are dismissing something. So what are you dismissing? Bhashyakara says that first, yaduktamiti. Yaduktam apravritta phalanam karmanam dhruva phalavatvat brahmavidah sharire patite sharirantaram arabdhavyam apravritta karma phalopabhogartham ityetat asata. So no, what does the no mean? What are you negating? What are you dismissing? Yaduktam, what you said earlier. Apravritta phalanam karmanam dhruva phalavatvat. That karmanam dhruva phalavatvat. That karma or the actions must necessarily give rise to the result. Na bhuktam kshiyate karma. Karma which is not experienced will not get exhausted. So karma will necessarily give rise to a result today or tomorrow. Kalpa koti shatairapi. It will take millions of even cycles of creation, but that karma stands in your account and someday it will give rise to the result. One morning, this person is he's brushing his teeth. He's sitting on his veranda and brushing the teeth. And somebody comes along in the morning at 7 o'clock and gives him 3 slaps, So what happened? He says, you remember 3 years ago you told me this, you insulted me, this is the result of that. So 3 years ago something was done. Na bhuktam kshiyate karma. So that karma was then, it has to be experienced, Similarly, you may have done karma any time in the past. But that karma will not leave you unless it gives you result. That is the argument. So Brahma vidaha sharire patite sharirantaram arabdhavyam. And therefore, even for a wise person also, those karmas will give rise to another body. Apravritta karma phalo bhogartham iti etat. For phalo bhogartham, experiencing phala of the karma which have not yet given the result. So they will give the result. You will take new body. Iti asat. So that is wrong. So that's the meaning of word na. That's wrong. Tatra hetuma. Why do you say no? So the reason is explained. Or go to another tika. Tasya tavadeva charimita shrutya sharirpada paryantam vilamboktya tasri arambhakanam arabdha phalanam anivrittihi tavadeva iti eva karyena cha anantaram vilamba bhavoktya sharirantara bhavena itara karmana nivrittisya gamyate. So look at this statement. This statement is a praman now. Tasya tavadeva chiram yavanda vimokshe atha sampatsye. Both statements are there. Says tasya tavadeva chiram iti shrutya. When Shruti says that so long is a delay for this wise person. Sharirpada paryantam vilamboktya yavanda vimokshe. As long as it does not get liberated from the body, so there is a delay. How? So Sharira Pata Paryantam, the delay until this body drops off. Shruti clearly says. Tashri Arambhakanam Arabdha Phalanam. So from that statement is very clear that those karma, prarabdha karma, which are given as to the body, do not get exhausted even in the taking place of knowledge. For that, this statement is the praman. Because as far as the karma is concerned, only Shruti can be praman, the valid means, because there is no way for us to really know. So, the karma and the karma phala, but what is the connection between them? Shruti alone can tell. Perform this karma, Agnihotra, here, and you get heaven, Swarga. That connection, only Shruti can tell, we cannot tell. Therefore, what is the result of karma in determining that Shruti alone is pramanam, the means of knowledge? And Shruti clearly says, tasya tavadeva chiram. So long is a delay until the body has not dropped off. That means there is something that causing delay up to the dropping of the body, and that is the arabdha karma, prarabdha karma. So arabdha phalanam anivritti tavadeva iti eva karyena anivritti. One sentence. Tasya tavadeva chiram, tavad eva chiram. So long alone is the delay, no more. Tavadeva eva karyena, the delay is only that much. Eva karyena anantaram vilamba bhavoktya atha sampatsye tada eva sampatsye. There is no vilamba. Once the body drops off, then there is no delay. That also says. Therefore, sharirantar abhavena, that means there is no other body, no sharirantaram, itar karmana nivrittisya. So whatever karmas now remain, they become ineffective. So that there is a delay until the body drops off shows that the prarabdha karma is effective. And as soon as the body drops off, then he gets liberated, means that other karmas are not effective. It's very clear from the statement of Shruti. Anyatha, so vilamba, avilamba yoho ayogat. There is vilamba, up to the body is there, avilamba, once the body goes. So delay and no delay. That is why we say that there is a distinction in the karma, the result of the karma. Vilamba, avilambayo, ayogat, iti vadan, vishesham vivranoti. That's what Bhashyakara says and shows what's the distinction between the karmas. Vidusha it is, Bhashyakara says. Vidusha tasya tavadeva chiram idishrutehe pramanyat. Tasya tavadeva chiram. So long is the delay, the Shruti is pramanam. So there is a delay. And there is no delay. Something causes delay, prarabdha karma. No delay, sanchita karma is not capable of creating any delay. So it is very clear from that, that's the pramanam. That's the pramanam that we have. So when it comes to atindriya artha, karma is atindriyam, meaning it's something beyond our sensuous perception or beyond our experience. For there, Shruti reva pramanam, Shruti alone is pramanam. Siddhanagiri, pramanyat, dehantarārambe, tad virodha prasangat iti shesha. Since that Shruti says, tavadeva chiram, so far alone is a delay. Then, if you say that another body, then there is a greater delay. In which case, this statement will be contradicted. So, pramana, dehantarārambe, tad virodha prasangat. If you insist that this is the next embodiment, then this Shruti will be vitiated, contradicted. Okay. Shrutyantaram ashankya ashritya ashankate. See, Bhashyakara takes the opportunity to discuss all the Shrutis pertaining to wherever their statements are there pertaining to karma. So, Jnanam and karma, elsewhere whatever statements are there, Bhashyakara has to clarify everything. So, Shrutyantaram ashritya shankate. Purva takes the Adhashruti, or going to the other tika, idam cha tasya tavadi shruti tat shabda vyakhyanam. Tasya tavadeva chiram. So tavadeva is explained Bhashyakara this way. Then punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati papah papene shrutya. Other shruti punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati. One, because virtuous punya by virtuous actions. The idea is that if you perform punya karma, then automatically you have a tendency to do punya karma. So whatever you've been doing for a length of time, that becomes your tendency. So if there is a person who has done punya karma, virtuous actions for a length of time in the past, that person is born with a tendency to do only punya karma. So some people are born givers. They just give away things. If somebody is in need, right away he gives, there is no hesitation at all. So some people are very generous. Does not matter what they have. Somebody needs it, here it is. That tendency they brought. Other people calculate, wait a minute, let me see whether there is enough for me remaining, then I will help. Other kind of person. There is no, why should I help? Third kind of person. So he deserves that. Fourth kind of person. So for the same kind of situation, different people respond differently. Shows that that's called vasana or tendency. People have different kinds of tendencies. Why this vasana? Because they have behaved in a particular manner for a great length of time. So when the same thing is done again and again, then it becomes habit. So born with habitual tendencies, that's called vasana. So punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati. If person punyena karmana, by performing virtuous deeds, punyo bhavati, he becomes a virtuous person. Then papah papena, of course. Some people are born with the tendency to hurt. to destroy. There is also a tendency. They respond to all the ISIS and all that stuff, so they are able to, they know the psychology. Some people are born that way. They are born with anger, born with resentment. And therefore, you have to explore that anger by giving them an expression, by facilitating them. Look, come here. You can kill. And by killing, you'll go to paradise. So a certain kind of killing that rewards you with paradise. So kill these fellows who do not follow your belief. That's all. You can make your belief so restricted that nobody fits in there. So these ISIS people are like that. They are even more conservative than this Taliban or this Al-Qaeda. More cruel. No compunction. They can kill women and children without compunction. Innocent people, they can just destroy them. They believe that this act will earn them a place in paradise. And one mother said that not only my son will go to paradise, but his relatives also, this act of his will create a place for his relatives also. This is a belief. And not everybody believes it, not every Muslim is like that, no. But there can be sufficient number of people. If there are millions and millions of them, you can find only some. In the world there are billions of Muslims. So there are many dissatisfied, resentful, angry, and their upbringing also has fed to that anger. Already tendency is there, and upbringing is such that it is possible that they have been treated with injustice, discriminated. Or they feel they are discriminated. There are other people who tell them, look, you are discriminated. Even if I don't feel, somebody tells me, you know something? You know what these fellows does? You know what they have done to you? So this is how you are treated. So there are forces who create in them a sense that we are treated unjustly, we are discriminated against, and therefore they deserve the retaliation. So there are so many forces in that tradition which can arouse your anger, and so which can feed your anger and resentment. And then there is a promise. So that's why, so these people believe, many of them, that this world is no good. Only you have to go to that world. This world is no good. Why do you come to that world? So you can go to that world. This is what they believe. So it depends on all kinds of belief people have. But then, so pāpah pāpena karmana. Having performed pāpa karma, vicious actions, you are born with a tendency to do those vicious actions. It is Shrutya. Prasamanta punya pāpa shabdabhyam niyamena tatphala sukhadukkhatvasya uktehe sanjitasyapi na nivrittiti shankate. In fact, this Shruti is quoted in support of this position that karma must necessarily give rise to the result. It's a Shruti statement. Punyave punyena karmana bhavati pāpah pāpena. So niyamena prasamanda punya pāpa shabdabhyam. He becomes punya, a virtuous person, or pāpa, a vicious person. Niyamena tatphala sukha dukkhatvasya uktehe. So punya gives rise to sukha, pāpa gives rise to dukkha. Therefore the karmas invariably, without fail, give rise to the result of sukha and dukkha. Sanjitasyapi na nivritti. It is clear that even sanchita karma also, pāpa and punya is that sanchita. They must give rise, they must make you papi or punyashali. So nanu, that's why in the next sentence, Nanu punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati ityadi shrutehe api pramanyameva. So one shruti against satta upar satta, one shruti against other satshruti. If you say that tasya tavadeva charam, that is pramanam. Then this is also punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati, that also is pramanam. It's also shruti statement. So that's also pramanam. So how do you account for that shruti? So say, ani tathacha anarabdha karmasad vidushopi dehantaram arabdhavyamiti sheshah tathacha anarabdha karmasad. Therefore, because of sanjita karma, vidwan also has to take another body because sanjita karma, punya and papa, so he has to take another body. Or says the other tika, Shrutyo paraspara virode vishesh vishaya nyayopetaya chatasya tasya tavadeva chiramiti shrutya punyo vaidi shruti samanya vishayani avidvishaya vyakhyaya ityaha. So shruti statements are there. Shruti is like mother, and mother has many children. So she says something to this child, depending on what is right for that child, to some other child, depending on what is right for that. But mother said this, but say to whom? So Shruti says that, all right, but says to whom? Given tasya tavadeva chiram, that statement is made addressing a wise person, punya vai punyena karmana, a statement made towards an ignorant person. So rules are different. Rules are different people, isn't it? If you go to even Tirupati, you buy a special ticket for 2,000 rupees, you stand in a different line. So you are also a devotee, that fellow also a devotee. But he is not given anything, 100 rupees this line, 2,000 rupees that line, etc. So similarly also, whether you are a wise person or otherwise, karma will have a different effect on you. Shrutyo paraspara virode. So when you find thus, the Shruti statements which appear to be contradictory or conflicting with each other, nyayopet vishesha vishaya, nyaya, so then there is a general rule and there is a particular rule. A general rule and a particular rule. General rule applies to everybody, but exception is there for some people. Therefore, vishesh vishaya nyayopetaya, this tasya tavadeva chiram, this statement of Chandogya, that so long as the delay applies to a specific person. Punya vai punyena karmana applies to everybody. This one applies to a specific person. Therefore, we have to say that should apply to everybody, this one applies to a wise person in particular. So both are all right. Both are pramanam for the purpose for which they are meant, or the scope for which they are, both of them are pramanam. That's, that's always the case. All the students are in one class, but then there are what they call talented students. There is a separate class for them. So, or there is a tuition class for some other fellows, also evening class. So, even though all of them are students, because they are different categories, therefore they are treated differently. Idya satyamiti. Or as Anandagiri says, tat pramanyam angikaroti, yes, punyo vai punyena karmana bhavati, it is pramanam. We don't deny that. Sabhashakar is satyamiti. Satyamevam. You're right. That one becomes virtuous by virtuous actions, becomes vicious by vicious actions. That is right. We accept it. Then what? Tarhi vidishopi dehantaram anarabdha karmashat arabdhavyam. See, that is pramanam, that a person has to experience the results of punya and papa karma as sukha dukkha. Then wise person also, remainder karmas will give rise to next body. He says, no, that is not the case. Na ityaha tathapi. So Bhashyakara says, tathapi pravritta phalanam apravritta phalanam cha karmanam vishesha asti. So yes, this Shruti also is valid, and still pravritta phalanam apravritta phalanam cha karmanam, but there is a vishesh distinction between the karmas which have given rise to the result, namely prarabdha karma, and the others which have not yet commenced to give rise to result, like sanchita karma. There is a distinction. Visheshameva akanksha dvara vishadayati vishesha asti. There is a distinction. What distinction? Akanksha. The question. Katham. So what distinction is there? What's the difference between the two karmas? Then says, so pravritta phalam then phalam eva spura yahiti. So Bhashyakara says, yani pravritta phalani karmani yahi vidvat shariram arabdham tesham उपभोगे नैव क्षयः. यानी प्रवृत्त फलानि कर्माणि, the prarabdha karmas which have given rise to the result, yahi by which vidvat shariram arabdham, those karmas which are responsible for the sharira, the body of the wise person. Because when he was born, he was an ignorant person. The human body is required for the knowledge to take place. So those who are on the spiritual path will necessarily born as human beings. Because nahi kalyana krut kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. He tata na kaschit, nobody ever suffers a loss when one is commenced on the path of spiritual pursuit, of Shraddha and Bhakti and knowledge. And so this person is there born as a human being with a purpose. What is the purpose? To get the knowledge. So arabdham karma. So there are certain karmas of all is sanchita karma. There are some karmas are there which are given as to this particular body and this particular circumstances. Not only you get the body, karma not only gives the body, karma also gives you all the circumstances in your life. Then you come across an acharya, that's a great thing. Ishvaranugrahadeva. So that is called the grace of God or called karma phala. So prarabdha karma, therefore the genetics cannot explain everything. The genes can at the most explain your characteristics of the body and then your nature perhaps. But genetics cannot explain what will happen in your life, which is what the Jyotish or the astrology says based on the prarabdha karma. Then of course there is Purushartha which also contributes. And that's how you can change the course of your destiny to some extent by your effort. There also the Jyotish or astrology accepts. But that prarabdha karma, he must have some punya karma in his store. Shat janma kodi sukrutehi. He must have countless sukruta or virtuous actions in his store which give rise to this particular body, in this particular nature also, and this particular circumstances. You have to accept that. And so, yehi vidvat sharim arabdam. It is vidvat sharim now. Now he is a wise person. When his body was born, he was not a wise person. but still it did possess some very distinctions because of this distinct kind of karmas. Tesham upabhogena kshaya. So those karmas which gave rise to this body, you would accept that they will not get exhausted until they are experienced. So that is the distinction between prarabdha karma and sanchita karma. Says the last line in the other tika, Yani balavanti abhivaktani bahuni karmani. Those which are very powerful actions. So actions also have different strength, depending upon with what intention, with what intensity you perform the action. How much soul you poured into an action. What is the intention? Accordingly also, karmas become more powerful or less powerful. Yani balavanti abhivyaktani bahuni karmani kramena swafladanartham bhogayatanam ekam shariram aramante. And prarabdha karma also unfolds progressively. Prarabdha karma, destiny also unfolds progressively. That it gave rise to the birth of this body is the beginning until that body drops up, the end. During that whole lifespan, the destiny unfolds. So, kramena swafaladanartham, for giving rise to the result of themselves, these karmas, bhogayatanam ekam shariram arambhante, they create one particular body. So that group of karma can work themselves out. Tani pravutta phalani, they are called pravutta phalani, arabdhani, prarabdha karma, destiny. So that has to give rise to its result. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Daya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.